Welcome to Spooky Southern Storytime. Today we're going to be talking about Magnolia Plantation in Derry, Louisiana. It's in Natchitoches Parish. Yes, I'm aware of it being a plantation. The thing is that I went there as a kid. We used to take field trips there as a kid. This was in the 80s, don't judge. But as a kid, you're going to believe anything that adults tell you. So we would take field trips to this place and they would teach us about the history and everything, but their version of history, that the enslaved people there were actually free people. And after the Civil War, they become sharecroppers and they earned a wage and everything. But they were treated very, very well. As a kid, of course, you're going to believe that. You're going to sit there with your little sack lunch and your sandwich and your chips and milk and a little cookie and believe anything those adults tell you. But the truth is, with the way that plantation's haunted, we know better now. Let's get into it. A lot of people who have gone to Magnolia Plantation have felt cold spots. They've seen lights moving around at night in some of the slave cabins when there is no light there. They've heard horrific screams coming from different parts of the area, but they could never be identified. Wonder where they would come from. There was also rumors of voodoo being performed on the property, which is given. But many people say when they are touring the old slave cabins, they can hear drumming, they can hear whispers. Sometimes they even feel a touch of their hair on their back, or sometimes they hear voodoo chanting. But, of course, there's no one around. Now, in the main house, which is actually a recreation of the original house that burned down, there's a room. It's called the dying room. It seems that every person who's ever been in that room has mysteriously died. Interesting. There's a story of a Union major who was poisoned in that room, and the Confederate soldiers drove him to insanity. Some even say his face can be seen in the window if you're standing outside and look up to the dying room. His face is there, staring back, wondering who you are. There are unusual shaped entities that seem to crawl on the kitchen floor, only during a full moon though. They seem to also come from the dining room. Some believe them to be demons, some believe them to be the spirits left over from the enslaved people who died on the property. Many of the slave cabins also hold angry energy, but also very sad energy. During the Civil War, many Confederate soldiers were shoved into these cabins, one on top of the other, and many suffocated to death, and were put in shallow graves around the property. Some people believe they're still there. They walk in and feel they cannot breathe. They feel something pushing down on their chest, and they feel claustrophobic, even when the cabin is empty. Many of the soldiers who died are seen walking the property, mostly at night, of course, but sometimes during the day you see a wisp of someone in a Confederate soldier costume, but it's not a costume. He died in it, he haunts in it. The basement of the house holds the spirit of an overseer who was cruel and tortured innocent slaves, but they turned on him and tortured him to death. His horrific screams can be heard at all hours, but nothing can be found. But he is forever locked in eternity of that basement, screaming for escape. So before you believe any stories that the slaves of Magnolia Plantation were treated well, do your own research. And do your own research into the ghostly realms, because the hauntings there say otherwise. If you have a spooky southern scary story to send me, Emails below. Let me know. Enjoy!